Atlanta in the summer was always loud. The streets hummed with music from open porches, kids running through sprinklers, and the smell of barbecue drifting from yard to yard. For most kids, it was chaos. For Maya, it was a chance to start over. Her family had just moved into a duplex after her parents split, and the neighborhood felt like a completely new world. It was on that first day that she met Jordan. He was a year older, skinny but confident, carrying a worn-out basketball under his arm. When he spotted her sitting on the front steps, legs swinging over the edge, he stopped and asked casually, "You play?" Maya tilted her head. "Play what?" "Basketball," he said, grinning like it was the most obvious thing in the world. "You play?" Maya shook her head. "Sometimes," she said, unsure why she wanted to impress this stranger. Jordan laughed, a sound that was warm and teasing. Without waiting for an answer, he held out the ball. "Come on. Let's see." What followed was chaos. Maya couldn't dribble. She couldn't shoot. She kept tripping over her own feet. And yet, Jordan stayed patient, coaching her through each mistake. "Keep your eyes up," he said, nudging her chin gently. "And bend your knees more when you shoot." By the end of the afternoon, Maya still couldn't make a basket, but she was laughing harder than she had in weeks. Jordan had a way of making her feel like the world wasn't so heavy, even if just for a little while. From that day on, they were inseparable. They walked to school together, shared snacks, and watched cartoons after finishing homework. If Maya wasn't at Jordan's house, he was at hers. Their families treated them like siblings. Their bond was effortless, natural, and for the first time in a long time, Maya felt like she had found someone who truly understood her. Despite their closeness, something was quietly stirring beneath the surface. Maya felt her stomach flip when Jordan smiled after she made a shot. Jordan, who was normally loud and carefree, scribbled small rhymes and notes about her in secret, never letting anyone read them. Neither of them understood what it was at the time, just that their connection was different, electric in ways words couldn't capture. By the time middle school arrived, the teasing had started. Kids on the block, classmates, and even distant relatives would ask, "Y'all dating?" Both would laugh, shrug it off, and insist they were just best friends. But each laughter carried a pang of something neither wanted to admit. Maya remembered one day in 7th grade vividly. She and Jordan were working on a science project on the floor of his living room, glue sticks and paper strewn around them. His older cousin walked in, saw them side by side, and smirked. "Mayan, y'all are cute. You sure you ain't boyfriend and girlfriend?" Jordan threw a pillow at him, shouting, "Man, shut up. This is just my homie." They laughed it off together, but that night, Maya lay in bed thinking, "Just my homie." The word stung more than she wanted to admit. Deep down, she wanted more, though fear and uncertainty kept her silent. Time passed, and their bond only strengthened. They became the duo that everyone on the block knew, always together, always laughing, always defending one another. Their differences made them perfect for each other, where Jordan was bold and impulsive, Maya was cautious and reflective. He made her laugh, she grounded him. High school loomed ahead, bringing change with it. Jordan joined the basketball team, gaining attention from classmates and upperclassmen alike. Maya watched, her heart quietly tightening, as the boy who had been her shadow grew into someone the whole school noticed. She was still his best friend, but the line between friendship and something more was beginning to blur. Maya didn't yet realize how dangerous it was to keep her feelings hidden. Nor did she know how the events of high school would force both of them to confront what they had been too afraid to admit for years. High school has a way of magnifying everything. What was once simple and innocent in childhood suddenly became complicated, tangled with expectations, gossip, and new desires. For Maya and Jordan, that meant their friendship, the kind of bond that had always felt effortless, became the subject of endless speculation. The first week of freshman year, Maya and Jordan walked into the crowded halls of their high school together. Same neighborhood, same history, same easy laughter. To them, nothing had changed. But to everyone else, it looked like something different. "Y'all dating or what?" a boy from Jordan's basketball tryouts asked, nudging him with a grin. Jordan scoffed. "Nah, that's just my best friend." "Aha," the boy said, smirking. "Best friend, right." Maya laughed it off too, but inside, the words made her chest tighten. She didn't know why it bothered her. Just his best friend. She had been hearing it for years, yet in high school, it felt heavier, like the label was trapping them in a box she didn't want to be in anymore. As the weeks went by, the teasing grew. Teachers paired them together automatically. Teammates and classmates made jokes. Even the neighborhood aunties would say things like, "You two are growing up fast, oh. Better tell us the wedding date." Every time, Maya and Jordan dismissed it with practiced smiles. But secretly, both of them were starting to feel the cracks. Jordan's popularity was rising quickly. He had always been funny and outgoing, but now that he was on the basketball team, people noticed him in new ways. Girls whispered about him in the hallways. Older students fist-bumped him like he was already part of their circle. Maya tried to act like it didn't bother her, but the truth was, she hated it. She hated when other girls leaned a little too close when they talked to him. She hated the way his attention seemed to scatter when he was surrounded by them. But she kept it all to herself. After all, she was just his best friend. Jordan, on the other hand, noticed something too, the way boys had started to notice Maya. For the first time, she realized how deeply her feelings for Jordan ran. It wasn't just a crush anymore. It was something bigger, something scarier. And it terrified her, because it meant she could lose him. Jordan, meanwhile, told himself he liked Kayla. She was pretty. She was fun. But every time he was with her, he found himself thinking about Maya. Comparing the way Kayla laughed to the way Maya's laugh made his chest feel lighter. Comparing the way Kayla talked to the way conversations with Maya always felt easy. It didn't take long for him to realize, Kayla was a distraction. Maya was the constant. And that truth scared him even more. By the end of freshman year, the tension between them was undeniable. Everyone around them could see it, even if they refused to acknowledge it themselves. But things were about to shift again. A fight, one neither of them saw coming, would test their friendship in ways they never imagined. By sophomore year, Maya and Jordan's friendship had settled into a rhythm again. Jordan was still dating Kayla, though everyone could see the relationship was rocky. Maya, meanwhile, had thrown herself into schoolwork and a few after-school clubs. They still walked home together most days, still laughed like they always did, but there was a distance neither of them could name. It wasn't obvious at first. It crept in slowly, in the way Jordan canceled on Maya to hang out with Kayla, or the way Maya kept her weekends busy so she wouldn't have to hear about his girlfriend. On the surface, they were still inseparable. Beneath it, though, something unspoken simmered. And then came the day everything cracked. It was a Friday night. The gym was packed, the stands full of students screaming, parents cheering, and the squeak of sneakers on polished wood echoing through the air. Jordan was on the court, playing like his life depended on it. Maya sat in the bleachers, clutching a bag of popcorn, her eyes glued to him. She didn't care much for basketball, but when Jordan played, she couldn't look away. The way his face lit up when he scored, the way he moved with confidence and determination, it was magnetic. Kayla was there too, sitting a few rows down with her friends. Every time Jordan glanced at the stands, Kayla blew kisses and waved dramatically. Maya rolled her eyes and looked away, but her chest burned with something she didn't want to name. When the game ended in victory, Jordan ran to the stands. Maya expected him to come to her like he always did. Instead, he went straight to Kayla. She jumped into his arms, wrapping her legs around his waist, and kissed him in front of everyone. The crowd roared, the team cheered, and Maya sat frozen in her seat, the popcorn bag crumpling in her hands. She forced a smile, clapped along with the crowd, but inside, it felt like something inside her had split open. Later that night, when the gym had emptied and Jordan caught up with her outside, Maya tried to act normal. "Good game," she said, her voice steady but her eyes avoiding his. "Thanks," Jordan replied, grinning. He looked flushed with victory, sweat still shining on his forehead. "Did you see that last three-pointer? That was all heart." "Yeah," she said softly. "I saw." He studied her for a second. "You good?" "I'm fine," she lied. But Jordan had known her too long. "Nah, something's up." "What is it?" Maya hesitated, the words on the tip of her tongue. "I hated seeing you kiss her. I hated that you didn't come to me first." But she couldn't say that. So instead, she snapped. "You don't have to check on me," she said. "Go find Kayla." "Isn't that what you want to do anyway?" Jordan blinked, caught off guard. "What?" "Maya, what are you talking about?" "You've been different," she said, her voice sharper now. "Ever since you started dating her. You cancel on me. You barely hang out anymore unless it's convenient. But when it comes to Kayla, you're always there. I get it. She's your girlfriend. Just, don't pretend I matter the same way I used to." Jordan stared at her, hurt flickering across his face. "That's not fair. You know you matter to me." "Do I?" she asked, her voice breaking. The silence between them was heavy. For a moment, it looked like he was about to say something important. But then he shook his head, frustrated. "You're my best friend, Maya. Don't make this into something it's not." The words hit her like a slap. Just my best friend. Always the same. Always a wall between what she felt and what he was willing to admit. She swallowed hard, blinking back tears. "Yeah. Right. Best friends." And with that, she walked away, leaving Jordan standing in the glow of the parking lot lights, staring after her like he didn't know what had just happened. For the first time since they were kids, Maya and Jordan didn't talk for days. At first, it was awkward silence, unread messages, ignored calls. Then it became habit. They passed each other in the halls, exchanged tight nods, but nothing more. Maya buried herself in her books, telling herself she didn't care. Jordan threw himself into basketball, pretending the ache in his chest wasn't because of her absence. But at night, when the noise of the day faded, both of them lay awake thinking the same thing: I don't know how to fix this. The truth was, their friendship was changing, whether they admitted it or not. The feelings they buried were clawing their way to the surface, and jealousy was only the beginning. Because soon, a moment would come when both Maya and Jordan would be forced to confront what was really between them. The silence between Maya and Jordan stretched longer than either of them expected. A few days turned into a week. A week turned into 2. By then, people at school had noticed. "Y'all good?" one of Jordan's teammates asked when he saw him walking alone down the hall. "Yeah, we're fine," Jordan replied too quickly. But he wasn't fine. He had gotten so used to having Maya by his side, walking home together, sharing snacks, whispering jokes in class, that without her, everything felt off. Even Kayla noticed. "You've been moody lately," she said one afternoon, twirling her hair as they sat in the cafeteria. "You sure you're not missing your little bestie?" Jordan flinched. He didn't answer. Maya, on the other hand, tried to convince herself she didn't care. She spent more time with other friends, joined the debate team, and kept her head buried in textbooks. But no matter how busy she kept herself, her chest still ached every time she passed Jordan in the hall and he didn't look her way. The truth was, neither of them knew how to fix it. The tension finally snapped one Friday night at a house party. It wasn't Maya's scene. She usually avoided the noise and the mess, but her friends begged her to come. "It'll be fun," they said. "Loosen up a little." When she walked into the crowded living room, music thumping, red cups in hand, she wasn't expecting to see Jordan. But there he was, surrounded by his teammates, laughing and dapping them up like he didn't have a care in the world. For a moment, she froze, debating whether to leave. But before she could, their eyes met across the room. His smile faltered. Hers did too. She tried to avoid him, slipping into the kitchen where it was quieter, but of course, he followed. "Maya," he said, catching her by the counter. She sighed. "Jordan, don't." "Nah, we need to talk," he insisted. His voice was lower than usual, serious. Whatever's been going on. I don't like it." She crossed her arms. "Then maybe you shouldn't have said what you said." He frowned. "What did I say?" "You told me not to make things into something they're not," she snapped. "Like my feelings don't matter. Like I'm crazy for caring." Jordan's chest tightened. "I didn't mean it like that. You're my best friend, Maya. You know that." "Best friend," she repeated bitterly. "That's all I ever am to you." He looked at her, stunned. For the first time, the wall between them cracked wide open. "What's that supposed to mean?" he asked, his voice rising. "It means I'm tired of being second place," Maya blurted out. "Second to basketball. Second to Kayla. Second to everyone else. You don't even see how much it hurts, do you?" The room felt suddenly too quiet, though music still pulsed faintly from the living room. Jordan stared at her, the words echoing in his head. Second place. He wanted to tell her she was wrong. That she wasn't second to anyone. That she was the one person he thought about when the lights went out, the one person who had always been first in his heart. But the fear choked him. So instead, he said the worst thing he could have said. "Maybe you're the one making this complicated. I never asked you to feel that way." Maya's breath caught. Her eyes widened with hurt, and then, just like that, she shut down. "Right," she whispered, her voice cold. "Thanks for clearing that up." She brushed past him before he could stop her, disappearing into the crowd. That night marked the beginning of their first real break. They didn't speak for weeks. Not short silences, not awkward nods in the hallway, real silence. A complete fracture. Jordan tried to distract himself with basketball, but his game suffered. He missed shots he never missed, snapped at teammates for no reason, and walked around school with a chip on his shoulder. Maya, meanwhile, poured herself into debate tournaments and essays, pretending she was fine. But late at night, when she lay awake staring at the ceiling, she felt like she'd lost a part of herself. The worst part was, neither of them knew how to fix it. Both too proud. Both too scared. Both too stubborn to admit what was really happening. They were in love, and it was tearing them apart. The break lasted longer than either of them expected. But fate has a way of pulling people back together. Because soon, a moment would come, a moment neither of them could avoid, when all the feelings they buried would threaten to spill out. The break between Maya and Jordan stretched into months. By winter, most people assumed their friendship was over. They walked different hallways, sat with different groups, and built walls so high it almost felt normal. Almost. Because no matter how much they tried to ignore it, fate had other plans. It happened on a cold December night. Maya was buried under blankets, scrolling mindlessly on her phone, when it lit up with Jordan's name. She hesitated, her thumb hovering. Part of her wanted to ignore it, but something deep in her chest wouldn't let her. She answered. "Hello." For a second, all she heard was his breathing. Then Jordan's voice, low and rough, "I'm outside." Maya sat up. "Outside where?" "Your house." Heart racing, she peeked through the window, and there he was, standing on the sidewalk with his hoodie pulled tight against the cold. The conversation. She met him outside, arms wrapped around herself against the chill. "Jordan, what are you doing here?" "I don't know," he admitted. I just. I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about everything. About us. Her stomach flipped. There is no us. Not anymore. He shook his head. That's not true, Maya. You know it's not. For a moment, they stood in silence, the winter air thick between them. Jordan looked at her like he wanted to say more, like the words were right there, caught in his throat. I hate fighting with you, he finally said. You've always been my person. And without you, everything feels wrong. Maya's eyes stung. She wanted to tell him everything, how much she missed him, how much it hurt to see him with someone else, how long she'd been holding these feelings in. The words sat heavy on her tongue. But fear won. Then maybe don't push me away next time, she whispered. He reached for her hand, their fingers brushing, but neither of them closed the gap. For a fleeting second, it felt like the truth was about to spill out. The world around them faded, leaving only two hearts beating fast in the cold night. But then Maya pulled her hand back. It's late. You should go. Jordan's jaw tightened. He nodded, stepping back slowly. Yeah. Okay. And just like that, the moment slipped away. As she watched him walk down the street, Maya realized something: they couldn't keep hiding forever. The feelings were too big, too heavy. Sooner or later, something would break. By spring, Maya and Jordan were back on speaking terms, but things weren't the same. The air between them was heavier, charged with unspoken words. They laughed together, hung out again, but under the surface, both carried a storm they refused to face. And then came the night of the spring party. The house was loud with music, laughter spilling into the yard. Maya hadn't wanted to go, but her friends dragged her along. Jordan was already there, surrounded by his teammates. But what stopped Maya cold was Kayla, still in the picture, still clinging to his arm like she owned him. Maya told herself she didn't care. She smiled, she mingled, she pretended. But when she saw Kayla kiss him, her chest burned so hot it felt like fire. Jordan noticed her too. Not just noticed, he saw her. Saw the way her smile didn't quite reach her eyes, the way she turned away sharply when Kayla kissed him. And something inside him snapped. Later that night, they found themselves alone on the porch, the muffled bass from inside vibrating through the walls. You've been acting weird all night, Jordan said. Maya scoffed. Maybe I'm just tired. No, he pressed, stepping closer. It's not that. Tell me what's wrong. Her laugh was sharp, bitter. Why do you care? Go back to your girlfriend. He froze. This is about Kayla. This is about everything, she burst out, eyes shining. Do you even realize what it's like? Watching you with her, pretending it doesn't kill me. Pretending I don't feel. She stopped herself, biting her lip, but it was too late. Jordan's eyes widened. Pretending you don't feel what? The silence between them stretched. Maya's heart pounded. She wanted to say it. She wanted to spill everything. But the fear of losing him, truly losing him, kept her locked in place. Instead, she shook her head. Forget it. Jordan's jaw clenched. He wanted to push, to demand the truth. But the music and laughter from inside reminded him they weren't alone. This wasn't the moment. Not yet. Still, something had shifted. The words were too close now. Too heavy to keep buried. As they stood in the cool night air, neither speaking, both of them knew, the truth was coming. Whether they were ready or not. The days after the party were unbearable. Maya avoided Jordan in the halls, afraid of what almost slipped out. Jordan, meanwhile, couldn't shake her words. Pretending I don't feel, it looped in his head like a song he couldn't turn off. By the next weekend, it boiled over. They ran into each other at the park, the same park where they'd spent summers as kids. It was almost cruel, how familiar the setting was. Maya, Jordan said, jogging up. We need to talk. She shook her head. I don't want to do this right now. Too bad, he snapped. Because I can't keep pretending nothing's wrong. Her chest tightened. You think this is easy for me? Watching you with her. Acting like I'm fine when I'm not. Jordan froze, his breath catching. So you do feel something. The words hung in the air. Maya's hands trembled. She could lie, walk away, but she was too tired, too raw. Yes, she whispered. I feel something. I've always felt something. Jordan's face broke open, relief and frustration all at once. Then why the hell didn't you tell me? Do you know how long I've been trying to hide the same thing? Maya's eyes widened. What? I love you, he said, voice rough. I've loved you, and it's been eating me alive. The silence that followed was deafening. For a moment, the world stilled. Maya's lips parted, but before she could answer, someone called Jordan's name from across the park, Kayla, walking up, oblivious. The moment shattered. Maya's heart slammed in her chest. Jordan's confession still hung between them, raw and exposed, but now they weren't alone. And suddenly, everything was 10 times messier. Kayla's voice cut through the air like a knife. Jordan, she called, jogging up with a wide smile. I've been looking for you. Maya instantly stepped back, her walls snapping up. Jordan looked between the two girls, panic flickering in his eyes. Maya, wait, he started. But Maya shook her head. Don't. Not in front of her. Kayla frowned. What's going on? She slipped her arm through Jordan's, territorial. Everything okay? Jordan froze. His heart pounded. He had just confessed everything to Maya, and now Kayla stood there like nothing had changed. Maya forced a tight smile. Everything's fine. Right, Jordan? Her voice cracked on his name, but she turned before he could answer. She walked away quickly, leaving him stuck between the truth he'd finally spoken and the lie he was still living. Kayla tugged his arm. What was that about? Jordan's throat was dry. For the first time, he didn't have an answer. As Maya disappeared down the path, Jordan realized he was out of time. He couldn't keep Kayla in the dark. Couldn't keep Maya at a distance. One way or another, a choice was coming. The days after the park felt like living in a storm. Maya avoided Jordan completely, humiliated that Kayla had walked in right after his confession. Jordan, meanwhile, knew he couldn't dodge the truth anymore. Kayla cornered him first. What's going on with you and Maya? She demanded one afternoon. I'm not stupid, Jordan. I saw the way you looked at her. Jordan rubbed his face, exhausted. Kayla, you deserve someone who's all in. And I'm not. Not with you. Her jaw dropped. So it's her. It's always been her, hasn't it? He didn't answer, he didn't need to. The silence said everything. Kayla scoffed, blinking back tears. Wow. Good luck with your best friend, then. And with that, she stormed off. Facing Maya. That evening, Jordan showed up at Maya's door. She hesitated before opening, eyes wary, arms crossed. What do you want, Jordan? She asked quietly. He swallowed hard. You. I want you. Her breath caught. Don't say that unless you mean it. I've never meant anything more, he said, voice steady now. I'm done pretending. I broke up with Kayla. Because the truth is, it's always been you, Maya. Always. Tears filled her eyes. For so long, she had dreamed of hearing those words, but part of her still didn't trust them. Jordan, she whispered. He stepped closer, his hand hovering like he was afraid she'd pull away. I love you. I don't care who knows it. I just need to know if you feel the same. Her silence stretched, heavy and trembling. And then, finally, she nodded. Yes, she breathed. I feel the same. For the first time, the wall between them shattered. As their foreheads pressed together in the quiet of her porch, both of them knew, this was only the beginning. After years of circling around each other, hiding behind jokes, best friend labels, and denial, Maya and Jordan finally stopped running. That night on her porch, everything shifted. They didn't rush into some perfect fairy tale moment, no dramatic kiss under the stars, no Hollywood ending. Instead, they stood there in silence, holding each other, letting the weight of years finally lift. The next Monday at school, walking down the hallway together felt strange at first. People stared, whispered, nudged each other. For years, everyone had assumed they were a couple, and now, for the first time, they actually were. Jordan squeezed Maya's hand, unbothered by the whispers. Maya tried to act casual, but the truth glowed on her face. They didn't need to explain anything. Later that week, sitting at the park where it all began, Maya looked at him seriously. So, what happens now? Jordan smiled softly. Now. We stop pretending. We stop being scared. And we figure it out. Together. Maya let out a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. For so long, she had feared losing him, feared the risk of telling the truth. But sitting there beside him, she realized something: they had already survived the fights, the jealousy, the distance. If they could make it through that, they could make it through anything. The ending that was always meant to be. For the first time in years, their story wasn't about hiding or almosts. It wasn't about best friends who might be more. It was simple. It was clear. Maya and Jordan were no longer just best friends.